Good evening and welcome to another exciting interview capsule for the She is Empowered interview series right here on Miss Hennessy TV. I'm so excited to finally get this amazing woman. We've been trying to connect over the last few weeks, but as we all know, motherhood has plans of its own, even when we try to make plans. But I'm really, really grateful to have this chance to talk to my darling friend, the beautiful Eden Dessalegn. Now, do I say your last name right? Because I never say your
Yes,
last name.
yes,
It is
you
right.
did.
Right.
Dessalegn. I just say
Wonderful.
kind of
Most people
echoes
would just know. Most people would just know you as Eden. Eden Stylz, of course, for the brilliant workmanship that this woman does when it comes to hair braiding. I think she's literally braiding Australia right now, if we could say that, right? Um,
my.
Thank you so much for joining me tonight. How are you, darling?
Oh, I'm good. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so honored. You already honored me so much by having me a part of this special and spectacular book, and now this interview to follow. And I'm loving writing this journey with you and alongside you as a friend and as a supporter and just someone who's just so incredibly proud of you. So
Oh,
I'm really genuinely happy to be here. So thank you for having me.
oh, thank you, my darling. And you know what? The pride gushing goes both ways because you've literally become this powerhouse woman that is you're such an inspiration to so many people, and it just sounds like this sort of verbal gushing, but if you don't know who Eden is, I think a really, really great way to start is to grab a copy of the book and to read your chapter, because that is basically the crash course in Edenology 101, if you want to know who Eden is. But obviously, to get a really good snapshot of who you are, you're someone who I believe just eats life and you love life. And the way you live your life is a testament to that love of life. So I guess the question that I have for you in starting off this interview is, how did you become this woman that just eats life every single day? Like you live as if tomorrow's not promised. And I love that, but it's easier said than done, right? So how do
Very
you
much.
put that into practice?
That's a big question. I guess one of the biggest and most important words is probably passion.
Yeah.
I think if you do everything with passion, it kind of drives the vehicle that you're in, and it kind of brings you to a destination where you're met with challenges and obstacles and all of what life throws at you.
Mm.
And yeah, it's choices in life. You're brought to a lot of points. I'm sure a lot of people has been to a lot of forks in the road of their life, and they have to make a decision about where to go. And you may have one create like crazy idea where you want to go, but life just steers you to another path. So
Yeah.
yeah, choices, passion, and I guess just drive and ambition.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. My heart is definitely drags me to where I want to go, and I
Yeah.
genuinely just follow it.
Absolutely. Well, I think you answered that in as much of a nutshell as you can, because it is a big question.
Yeah.
So well done. I think a lot of people do sort of, question that in themselves every day, or at least I hope they do. I know I definitely do. And I'm so aware of it too, being a mum, especially a mum raising sons, right? Like we're both mothers who are raising sons, and there's just that there's a very unique relationship that mums and sons have, right?
Mm,
Your son gets to see the world through his mother's eyes, and as mothers, we're nurturers, we're teachers, we're caretakers, caregivers, all of those
wear
things.
a lot of hats.
Absolutely. So in order to, wake up every day and have this zest for life, I think that is such an important tool to give our children, right? Whether you're boys or girls. But I think especially with boys, especially today in the world that we live in, I think it's
It's
important
so
for
needed.
seriously for sons to also, you know, to have female role models, because really at the end of the day, women are definitely raising up so much more in our generation now than they used to be, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel, obviously that question now, bringing it back to having been in the book, She is Empowered. How does it make you feel when you look at that book cover and you see your chapter and your truth amongst all the other true stories? How does that make you feel as a mum?
Oh my goodness. It's honestly, it's one of the most, I guess, really positive things that I feel is that I'm amongst these incredible women. Like their stories, and I still haven't had a chance to finish the book, but the ones that I've read, I just honestly, I just already love them from what they've done and what they've accomplished. And you know, I've got some really close friends in there. They're like Tiana and Janique and Mira and so many others. But I just feel so proud, so proud and so honored, and to think that, you know, all those times that I've worked so hard and that I've made different choices than others, and you know, I wanted to move to New York at one point in my life. Thank God I didn't. But I'm glad that, you know, my life has taken a journey the way it has, because it's brought me to the destination of where I'm at now, and I'm super proud of it. So
Absolutely.
yeah, definitely I'm empowered and proud.
Absolutely. And you know what, when I was going through my list, like in the initial stages before I even put pen to paper, and I was like, what women would make up this book? I didn't even have the title yet. It
Also
was more,
grateful. Sorry, Max. I feel so grateful for you for
oh,
thinking of me. Honestly, gratitude is at its peak, and I just so thankful and
oh,
appreciate
honey,
you.
it's I mean, look, for me, I operate from a really, really high place of gratitude for all of the women, the 29 amazing women in this book, and for you all. And I say this to every interview, just the resounding yeses to the question when I asked everyone if they wanted to be a part of it is something that will never ever leave me. You know, I expected a few no's, and I did get a few, and I totally understood why, because you've got to be ready at a point in your life to share your truth, right? To share it unabashedly, without conviction, and in a book that is going to be around for many, 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 many years to come. Hopefully, even after we've gone on, it's the legacy for kids and for the families. But I think, you know, I wouldn't have been able to have this book without you in it, because you are the embodiment of empowerment for me and for so many women who watch you every day. Your consistency with your ambition, but also your consistency with your drive, the passion for what you do. You're not just a hair braider. You braid for your culture, right? That's how I look at it. When I come into Eden Stylz hair braiding salon, it's not just a hairstyle that I come out with. Being a South African woman, being a woman with the hair texture that I have, being a woman with the culture I have, it's an actual experience to sit in your studio and to have you impart your culture and your love of hair braiding into my scalp. So we've seen you build this business to such an incredible level. And I know that, you know, you always say you don't do it on your own. You know, your amazing mom is there with you every step of the way, and you've got a great team behind you. But it's your vision and it's your drive, Eden, that is the embodiment of empowerment. So I wouldn't have been able to have
Thank you so
created
much.
this book without you in it. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
Well, it's not every day that somebody wants to write about your life, first of all. So that in itself is, I don't know who would say no to that. That's amazing. And our journeys no one's journeys have ended. So I think it's so exciting to kind of, in a way, document what we've achieved or have experienced thus far. And yet we still got so much to go, but we can look back, and I know I'm going to look back at this point in my life and go, wow, you know, we've done this and we've achieved this. So it's a nice way, kind of reflect and I guess just appreciate what we've done so far.
Absolutely.
So
I
for
don't
you
think,
to for that is so important.
yes, absolutely. I don't think as women we thank ourselves enough for
No, we don't
the
have time
greatness,
to.
right? I know we don't, right? And it's only with moments like this, and it doesn't have to be a book. It's just when somebody sort of sits there and goes, wow, I see you, and I see what you do, and I thank you, and I think what you're doing is brilliant. It's I don't know if you're like this, but I know for me, I when people compliment me, I get feel awkward because I'm like, oh, but it's my job.
Like you're like, thank you, but you're just like, I want to do that something else after that. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's hard. It's hard to appreciate and be appreciated as
Mm.
well of when you're when you're being complimented.
Yeah.
It almost feels like I don't know about other people. I sometimes feel like I'm not there yet. Like, don't compliment me yet. I'm
Yeah.
still going. I'm
Yeah.
still growing and I'm still learning. So it's really nice to hear. It's
Yeah.
just yeah, it actually is it's a nice driving force as well to think
Yeah.
that you are inspiring other people and your work is being acknowledged.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think, at the end of the day, it's the people that know you and obviously know where you started. Everybody has a starting point. We've all got their launch pad, right? But I think it's everything and this is just from me having known you, I think for the last maybe 5 years or so. When I initially met you, I don't think you had your salon at the time, but you were braiding. So everybody knew Eden, you go if you want a great, hair braid up, Eden Stylz is the place I wanted to go to. And then you got your incredible salon and the way you've documented your life and the pride you take in sharing that documentation of it, I think is what is very inspiring about you. So if you follow Eden on any of her social pages, you'll see you celebrate the wins, hun. And
Oh,
you
I'm
really you really celebrate the wins, but you do it in such a powerful way that I think that's the driving force for then any of the younger girls watching you going, how did she do that? It's almost like you're setting a how can I say, not a well, definitely a benchmark, but it's like you're going, well, this is how I've done it, and I'm celebrating each and every step, each and every little win. This is how I've done it. So it's like a blueprint to your ongoing success story, if we can say that, and it's wonderful to watch. It's wonderful to watch.
everyone to celebrate even the smallest of milestones. I feel like people don't celebrate enough. And
Mm,
it's that piece of joy that you get out of working so hard. And I was talking to a friend today actually, and I said to her, my idea is when we're at school, we graduate every year and we
mm,
go to another grade. When we leave high school, who is grading us? How do we
mm.
grow and how do we acknowledge? And I don't know, if you set yourself a goal for that year and you achieve it, that's kind of in a way moving up to the next grade of
Yeah,
life.
yeah,
It's my kind of analogy, but kind of works for me. Otherwise, I don't know, I kind of feel like I get stuck.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I encourage everyone to celebrate. It feels damn good when you work hard and you celebrate, you know,
Absolutely.
people need to do it more.
No, well, you make it a real joy to to watch. Like with your photos
And
and
it's not a way to say, look what I've done, or you
yeah,
should do it. It's more to say, it's possible.
yeah,
We don't have everything handed to us. We've come from backgrounds. Even my mom only had a small suitcase of clothes. We didn't come from a wealthy background. And if we can show that to the younger generations and be that inspiration, we're changing people's lives without even realizing it. So,
absolutely, absolutely. And I'm so glad you said that because that is what it is. It's showing that it can be done and it is possible, no matter where you come from, no matter what our backgrounds are, no matter what our social standing is in life, right? Especially today with how social media is literally running people's lives. Okay, so
Absolutely.
much of our lives are online, whether we wanted to or not. But
Yeah.
the fight to keep what we post humble and full of gratitude and just showing showing the good stuff, right? Not sort of the bragging and all of that sort of stuff. Just showing the good stuff. It becomes harder because the world is so consumed with look what I've got and look what you can buy and all this type of thing. In saying all of that, how do you not get sort of consumed by all of that? Because a lot of your business relies on that social media contact, that interaction, right? You work on so many different types of people's hair. You've got actors, you've got models, you've got influencers, and then you've also just got your regular customers, your friends, all of that sort of thing. How do you not sway yourself from getting consumed with what happens on social media with all of that sort of stuff, especially with all of these entrepreneurs and wanting to.
It's so easy to look at other people's lives and, do the comparison thing. But I think you just really have to stay true to yourself. Be real in where you are at. Everyone's going on a different journey. Everyone's running a different race and everyone's going through something that other people may not know about, And I think it's just really focusing in your own lane and being okay with where you're at. And you might have somebody who's right beside you, but you're going at different paces. It doesn't mean anything. And, if somebody is doing well, great, celebrate them. And if somebody's not, then reach out and, see if they need a little help or something. But I think in this world of social media, and I think it's really affecting the mental health of so many people, and I speak to people on the daily about it, and especially the young ones, they get so consumed about how they should look or what they should wear or how they should be. And I think it's really just appreciating where you're at in life, having your own goals, having your own journey, and really being present and I guess loving yourself in a way to just keep it real with yourself.
Absolutely. And it sounds so easy, but it can be often the hardest thing in the world is just having the confidence to be yourself.
That's the word I should have mentioned first. Confidence.
Yeah.
Confidence is the absolute key and something that should actually be taught at school.
Oh, confidence class. Honestly, confidence 101. I think as we're getting older though, I mean, obviously both of us are mums and we see in our children, I mean, I know with my boys, the confidence, difference between the eldest, who's 12 and then my youngest who's 4. The 4-year-old's so annoyed he's trapped in this little body and he just wants to take over the world and run a million miles a minute. I think that just is with the first and second kid, but I think confidence is definitely something that's not lacking with the younger generation today. And I think we're probably the flag bearers for that as empowering mothers and empowering women. So how do you ensure, because like you said before, the role that you have and the role you work every day, it's a people-pleasing, people-focused, consumed role that you're in, right?
Sometimes I forget I'm a hairstylist. Sometimes I think I'm a therapist or a counselor.
Yeah.
Just speaking with such an array of people, I just feed off it. I really love learning from people and sharing my experiences and knowledge with them, as well as, learning about their background. And I think I've learned more as an adult running this business than I have throughout my entire life.
Wow.
It's really confronting because we have such an open space here. I'm very open with my life. I don't really hide a lot, which a lot of people think should probably be hidden, but I don't really have anything to hide. So I think that allows other people to be open with me, and we, get in such deep conversations, and they really confide in my team and I, actually, and we have such deep and meaningful conversations that I think it's that connection that brings people back, and
Absolutely.
as well as the braids, of course. But
Absolutely.
it's that people connection
Yeah.
that is important in such a people kind of environment.
Absolutely. Because I mean, look, you're not, it's not just a quick blow dry and you're out. With hair braiding, it's hours. You need to set aside at least a good 2 hours to come in and get something done, because you are a perfectionist, and you've trained your team up to be that way as well. So there's a lot of time spent there to really have good conversations. So that role in itself puts you in such an empowered position, because like you said, you've got young girls that are there talking to you about image and social media, and it's such a powerful position to be in, and such a privileged position, I can imagine, right?
Yeah.
Because these people are sharing so much with you. How proud are you of Eden Stylz and what you've built?
It's so hard to believe that how far it's come and where it started. There's literally a photo of me doing someone's hair in my high school yearbook. And I'm like, what?
That's
It's
crazy.
just something I thought that was just a fun little hobby. Well, as it says in the book, I don't know if it says it in the book, but pretty much I started braiding my own hair after, the split up of my parents, and I had to braid and deal with my fro. Oops, that's my son. And as I progressed, I started doing people's hair at school, and then that turned into a little side hobby, and it evolved. And it's just crazy to think about the journey that it's taken me. One of the biggest, I guess, wake up call was the Latin American Festival. That was the first show, the first event that I did, and I had like my first queue of people, which ignited that idea of going somewhere much bigger and more, I guess, foot traffic of people, and that's when it led to the Easter show. So it's
Which you
crazy.
literally, sorry to disturb you, but the Easter show is epic, because you're there, like one of the original sort of hair braiding, right? But
Crazy.
it's like 14 days.
Yeah, it started off 14, now it's reduced to 12 days. Yeah.
And it's just hair braiding from 9 till midnight. What's the hours? What are you doing?
9 a.m. till 9 p.m.
Wow.
Yeah. And the Easter show will be celebrating their 200th year next year, and it will be our 6th year. And we are really the first hair braiding stall in Australia to be at an event at that capacity.
That is just, that's like legendary stuff, man, legendary stuff.
I'm so proud to share our culture,
That's it.
Some people may disagree in other countries, or, however they feel about sharing the culture. But to me, I focus on the cultural appreciation of it and nothing else. There's nothing wrong with sharing our culture. It keeps it alive. The way I see it, if we keep it to ourselves, it's not going anywhere. I mean, it's not spreading amongst the world.
Yeah.
It should be shared, just like everything.
And I couldn't agree with you more. And I think that's the importance, and the cultural beauty of the business that you're in, because and this is something I've worn my hair in cornrows and braids for as long as I can remember, and I've always had my hair done by women of the native country that obviously exercise their right to braid hair. So I've always maintained that it is a cultural headdress, right? It oversees or oversteps the fashion side of things, and for people who wear it, to me, I always feel regal when I have it. It is a crown, and to have that cultural headpiece woven into your hair by hands representing that culture. I think more people need to have that experience, because I think that transcends the issues that we have today with cultural identity and with, the ignorance assigned to racism and all of that sorts of stuff. And I think the more we share knowledge is also interwoven, right?
Every day there are so many people that aren't aware of where it comes from, and I'm happily and open to talk about the history of it, and that people shared it as a social interaction, as back to where they braided maps into their hair because they ran away from wars or whatever it may be. And
absolutely,
people don't know that it's not just a fashion statement.
So much deeper.
It's so much deeper, and I think it's about time that it's appreciated in the corporate world. It's appreciated in the private schools, and it makes me annoyed and to hear that, oh, I can't wear my hair on Monday to work because it's not appropriate for that. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely.
Why not? Like, it should be something that is appreciated and not have the kind of stigma of it's too gangster or it's too hip hop. It should be something that's beautiful and appreciated.
Because it is beautiful. And I think the stereotypes, again, it's just, that misunderstanding of cultural identities. And, I think that the more and more we look around us, Australia is such a cultural melting pot. Those comments should never really even be allowed anymore. You go in and you wear your hair braid or your twisted crown on your hair on a Monday, and you walk with pride, because we're a cultural melting pot in this country, and there's no denying it, right? I think we've surpassed that. But it's funny how you still have little pockets of that happening.
Oh, I get it very regularly. Very regularly.
I can imagine.
Get it boxed or commented on one of the photos on my page, and I'll try and educate them. If they choose to listen, they will. If they don't, then
you've done your job. You've done all you can, really, at the end of the day.
I will always try and reply to it to the best of my knowledge, and not in an argumentative way, but in a more cultural, educational type of way.
Absolutely. Now, moving on from that, obviously the balance of being a business owner, and again, like I said, you do have a team, but you really are a solo entity, right? Eden Stylz, you always have sort of rode your own ship for so many years. Motherhood happens, and you have this incredible, beautiful little boy that we all just love so much. He's literally got a million aunties that adore him. I just want to eat his whole face when I see him. My whole world just explodes when I see a photo of him. How has this journey into motherhood? It is a journey. Oh my God. And it is the most impossible love that you can't even describe sometimes. It really is all encompassing. How has it been for you? He's a year and a bit now?
Year and a half, just a little over a year and a half. And my gosh, Max, it has flipped my world upside down. And you know what? I will be very open and very honest. And I haven't really, because this is going to be obviously posted on YouTube and publicly, I haven't really opened up about where we're at and publicly. Obviously the people who are close to me will know, but obviously Kingston's being diagnosed with minor CP. I'm going to get emotional. I wasn't going to talk about
honey, that's feel how you want to feel. It's a lot.
Yeah, so I do not want to talk about this. I don't know why.
You don't have to.
I'm talking to you and I'm being real, and it needs to be spoken about because of awareness.
Yes.
And a fellow mother came in the other day and spoke to me about it, and I learnt so much from it.
Oh,
so Kingston has cerebral palsy, and he's struggling to walk at the moment.
Yeah. But he's getting there, because I wish you could see how determined this little king is. He will not sit still, right? He's standing up.
Yep, he is. There's a lot of positives in there, and it's added a whole nother world to my world, which I'm actually really grateful for, because I've learned already so much in the last 6 months about people I've never even thought about. And there are people that's going through so many things. And
you're an amazing mum. You really are. You're an amazing woman. And that's why I've said this journey and everything that you do, right? Because I remember the day you told me, and I wept, right? You told me, and you were strong, and you didn't know how to tell me, and then you told me, and I know I cried a lot as a mum with that fear, right? Because no mother wants to ever have to deal with anything with their kid, whether they fall over and graze their knee, or they have to deal with bigger, complications in life. But you took it on board, and the way you relayed the information, you were already armed with the research that you've done, and you already had certain key points where you knew what you had to do, where you had to go, where you had to take him, and all these things. And I remember when we first spoke about it, and I said, no, he doesn't. He definitely doesn't. I mean, he's constantly on the move, constantly walking. We never know what happens, right? We never know. And it is.
That's what I'm saying. You don't know what people are going through and what, what lies beneath. And it's always really important to ask how people are doing, because you don't know how much that may help them. And although, you go through a roller coaster of emotions, but at the end of the day, it's kind of reignited another fire within me to just push that extra bit, I'm just a lot more driven, and not that I wasn't driven, but I did at one stage feel like I was kind of, I got kind of him, and I was kind of felt like I was just cruising. And when all of this happened, I kind of thought, no, like I can't chill for a little bit. And people who know me know I can't say no. So it has kind of pushed me to work even harder and dream that extra, that little bit more, and just to be the best that I can be for him.
Absolutely.
And to plan more, to be organized more, to be punctual. Having these appointments is a whole nother game.
Yeah, it adds a whole other level to your already full plate. And you need people that are not just 100% supportive, through everything that's outside of just your, and you've got incredible friendships with some really amazing women. You really have a great friend family, right?
Incredibly blessed. Oh, Max, I have the most amazing, I have 2 groups of sisters, and I adore so much. And we may not always speak, we may not always see each other, and it takes us 3 months to plan a catch up. But when we do, it's always just so fulfilling. And I've got an amazing partner, and my mum and my team, so I have a great support network around me.
You really do.
Always grateful for that.
Always. But you do know that, that saying, children choose their parents, right?
Yep. Yeah. And I'm glad he chose me with all the comes with.
He knew choosing this badass mom is like, no matter what happens, my mom's got me. And you have, from the minute he left you and he entered the world, it's literally been this incredible journey watching you with your beautiful son, and how he just has changed you from being the fierce woman that you were to even more fiercer, this empowered warrior queen, with this now that you've got to deal with, right? And you will deal with it. Absolutely. And he will get to the next level. And it will be looked back upon as a challenge and one that you both want, right? I say that with utmost conviction. How are you balancing it all, right? Because every woman wants to know this, whether you're a mom or not. You just want the balance, right? So how do you balance running the business and it's successful every day, booked out? You've got your son, and now you've got the added, you know, with the medical appointments and this, that, and the other, and you've also got your own social life. How do you balance? What's your tips?
I definitely run off my calendar. Life
This is organized.
Look, I think everyone does it differently, and everyone's got their methods and ways. And for me personally, I just try and prioritize the most important thing at hand at the moment. Try and have a task list either every night or every morning that you go through, and just really trying to organize what's next. There's no real formula. You know, you've got things to do and you just got to do it. I think my mom once said, if it takes 2 minutes, don't put it on your task list. Do it straight away.
I like that. Absolutely.
It's a balance. You know, you'll be multitasking. You know, us women, we are strong, and that is our strength. We are great at multitasking. And you know, I'd be feeding Kingston, you know, while trying to make a booking, you know, while trying to fold washing or something like that. And definitely really appreciate my calendar. I try and write everything down. You know, I even ask at the start of every year for all my girlfriends, you know, what do you have coming up this year, just so I can write it down and make sure I'm available for that date. And yeah, definitely writing things down. I don't have the best memory. I don't remember a lot of things, but
you've got a lot going on, and I think you need to have something that makes your life a little easier.
Yeah, it's a juggle of things, and just really understanding the importance of, I guess, self-care as well. I kind of forgot that a little bit a few months ago, and you know, I just realized you cannot pour from an empty cup, and that is absolutely important. And you have to do things that fulfills you. Maybe something like tap dancing or salsa, or you know, reading a book, or whatever it is that, you know, people enjoy. Do it. It's really important to do things that bring you joy. Otherwise, we get so consumed in our everyday life. And,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, I like that. Well, I think that's my questions for you. Did you have any questions for me?
Thank you for having me. I didn't mean to get emotional.
No, listen, I love that. That's the real, you know, and that's what this is about. That's what this book and this journey has been about. It has been an emotional journey, right? And it's a vulnerable journey that we're on. And when we throw in these different challenges that being a mom presents, right? Whether it's, you know, medical challenges or social behavior challenges. You know, I've gone through so much with my eldest boy, and going into the high school realm is filling me with the greatest amount of anxiety, because he is, you know, a sensitive soul, and he's been through quite a bit. So, and I've been through quite a bit in my school journey. So there's all of these little things that your kids make you face some of the biggest fears, man, that you thought you could just get away with. Oh yeah, I don't need to deal with that. And your kids, your children, they make you face them. And we learn from them as much as they learn from us, right? So I totally get it. And I get the feelings of overwhelmment, and all we can do is just pray for each other and be there for each other and lift each other up.
Little pockets in the day to just breathe and, you know, do a workout, or, you know, if you forget to do that, just, I don't know, jump on the spot for 10 minutes.
That's it.
These days, when I'm speaking to my clients, I hear the same thing every day. I'm tired, I'm stressed, I'm overwhelmed. And it's society. It's a lot of pressure on everybody, and there's a lot of pressure to be successful and to be here and there. And be there for everybody. And I think we really just need to kind of slow it down a little for our own pace. And I don't mean slow down the journey, but take time out, which I'm still learning how to do.
Oh.
I haven't come to the point of just chilling yet. So I'm excited.
It's hard though. It's hard, Eden, you know, and I'm somebody that also doesn't take well to the you know, chilling out, right? Because
I'd love to, you know, be a bit more calm, but seems like time just gets away.
It really does. Yeah. And I think it's hard too when you're an entrepreneur, or when especially when you're a creative as well. You know, somebody like myself, my mind is constantly on. I'm constantly thinking of the next, you know, the next book, the next project, the next, you know, podcast, the next. It's always a next, because the mind and the creative mind never rests.
You're creative.
Oh, it is seriously.
I went to sleep one night and I had this crazy idea of a style I wanted to do, and I messaged one of my clients and I said, I really want to try this style on you. And the next day I did it. Like, it's just, once you get it in your head, you have to release it, right?
It has to be released. Thank you. You get it. You understand, right? I know my husband looks at me like I'm nuts, and he's like, when do you ever stop? And I go, there'll be time for me to stop. Right now it's not. And I'm not going to force it. I'm rolling with it, you know, but we do need to take heed, and we do need to rest. So I think that's something you and I should both remind each other of.
Yeah. Another thing I try and live by is an important quote that really is so special to me is, and I think it's in the book, it's live your life by design and not by default. And I think we all just kind of just go, oh, well, I got this job. I've got it now. So I'll just stick with it because I've got a job. Especially when people aren't passionate about it, or it's not fulfilling their soul, and they just kind of stay with it. But I think there's still a lot of push and drive that needs to happen to kind of live that life by design. Even though it's hard, you just got to go for it. Take calculated risk. And I always say calculated, because if you just taking a huge risk, then you may just crash and burn.
Yeah. Totally. I like that. I like that. I think that is
yeah.
I think that's very powerful. Absolutely, very powerful. Well, yeah, my love. I think, you know, I've asked you as much.
I'm so excited to see what you come up with next, and you know, we're all supporting you and love what you do and what you're about and your values, and you're just creating this, you know, platform for all women and men. I believe you're coming up with something.
Yeah, currently working on the next book, and trying to create a safe space for you know, for the men, the male friends in my life, and for them to speak on some things that are happening around the world, you know, that are affecting men of color, and you know, people of color, and just that really important conversation. So it's a think piece, and it's a sensitive topic, but it's something that I think needs to be explored, and fingers crossed, you know, with grace of God.
It'll just do an amazing job, and I'm very proud of you. So thank you for having me.
Oh, thank you, my darling. And, you know, continued blessings to you with everything that you're achieving, and you are, you know, you really are a walking inspiration, Eden. And, you know, the raw emotion that you're feeling right now, again, is going to touch whoever watches this, because again, you never know what people are going through. And this is a safe space to be able to talk and to share. So thank you for your honesty and your vulnerability, and for trusting me with your story in the first place, to add it to this book and make this book a reality. And thank you for that beautiful boy that we just love so much. And we're there for,
I encourage people to talk about what they're feeling, because they might come away with something a lot different than what's expected. And talking to that lady openly about her son CP allowed me to go and research something and learn a lot more about it. So you know, don't be afraid. Some topics are really difficult to speak on, but yeah, it's a great way to open up and be more aware of what's going on in the world.
Absolutely. Well, knowledge is power, right? And that is empowerment at the end of the day. So, but you know what, Godspeed with everything, honey. And you know what, I just know that whatever you touch turns to gold. And your boy is incredibly blessed and a beautiful boy, and he will overcome so much. You can just see it in his face, his determination. So we're with you on this journey. I know, but he's just so handsome. My God, he's just beautiful. So he's just such a beautiful, blessed little boy. And yeah, but thank you for your time, honey. I really appreciate you.
Thank you, Maxine. Have a wonderful night. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys. Check out the